he has jumped ahead because he's got some great ideas and he communicates them very effectively.
So the next story we're going to talk about is Vivek Ramaswamy. He has stated multiple times, and he's out there now saying how if he is elected president, day one will pardon Ross Ulbricht. Before we even talk about anything, I want to point out, state that I am not a lawyer. Lee is not a lawyer. We are not lawyers. These are opinions.
But we have opinions.
We have opinions. Yeah. So what is your opinion of this whole situation?
Sure. Yeah. I think, Ross, having spent nearly a decade in jail for the crimes that he committed, is sufficient punishment for the crimes. I mean, does the punishment fit the crime? That's kind of a statement you brought up. And I think the sentence that he has is a little bit absurd, right?
Right.
So again, I'm not opposed to a pardon here because he has served significant time. That's a life-changing amount of time that he spent there. And he was a kid and he did some stuff that he shouldn't have done. But the way the justice system handled him was concerning.
Yeah, and it's the double standard because you have people doing things. And again, I don't claim to know much about the story, but my personal opinion of Ryan Harper is whether you believe he is a full-blown criminal or he is innocent of all charges, 10 years is 10 years. I think, like you said, that's the crime, the time, let's move on. But
Vivek can speak to issues that really, he has surged in the polls, right? He was a no-namer and in the last 6 months has become the third in the Republican Party nomination battle as from a polling perspective. So, of course, you've got Trump and DeSantis out in front, but he's third behind them, behind people that have had lifelong careers in public service, like great candidates like Nikki Haley or Tim Scott or several other people that have jumped in the race. He has jumped ahead because he's got some great ideas and he communicates them very effectively.
That's one thing I saw the other day is a lot of the people running are going on like Tucker Carlson, and Tucker's not pulling any punches, and apparently every single candidate is going on there and their campaign is dying. Like Mike Pence went on there and his campaign's over. And Vivek is the only one that went on there and held his own. And I think, for me, I don't necessarily know all of his policies or where he stands, but that enough is, for me, better than the last couple of years, the last 4 years before that, because I think there's an element of the presidency that needs to be presidential, and I don't think we've had that in a long time, both parties. But going back to Ross Ulbricht, I think the major point there is the crime, because there is a large contingent of Bitcoin in the Bitcoin community that cheerlead him and see him as a pioneer for digital privacy. Again, that's not my purview or lawyers to really speak too much to that, but just point that out.
Yeah. It's an interesting development. I think, as I said, you got to have a nuanced take on this. So I think to claim one extreme or the other is irresponsible.
I agree with that.
Hey, it's Amy. Click over here to subscribe, click over here for more content, and we'll see you next time.